She raised him like her own son. She gave her life to his home. But when the billionaire returned, he found his maid, the woman who had once been his only comfort, running in the street in nothing but a towel. Pause, with intrigue, can you imagine the shock of seeing someone you love reduced to such desperation? The neighbors whispered, his mistress smirked, and then Clara asked him the one question that broke him completely. Slow, deliberate, did you ever care? His answer shocked everyone, upbeat, engaging. Before we dive deeper into this heart-wrenching story on Whisper Fable, let us know in the comments, what time is it, and where are you watching from? Let's start. Clara James had spent her life serving others. At 68, her silver hair and wrinkled hands told a story of decades bent over buckets, ironing endless shirts, and cooking meals she was never allowed to sit down and eat. But in Adrien Cole's mansion, she was more than a maid. She had raised Adrien. When his parents were too busy attending galas, Clara had rocked him to sleep. When his father barked at him for being weak, Clara whispered encouragement in his ear. She was the one who brought soup to his bedside when fevers burned him as a boy. For Adrien, she had once been the closest thing to a mother, but that was years ago. Now Adrien was 35, a billionaire with steel in his eyes and walls around his heart. He spoke to Clara rarely, and when he did, it was curt. Mimic Adrien's cold tone. Clara, polish the banister. Clara, the guests will arrive at 6. The tenderness she once gave him had long since been forgotten. Buried under his pride and distance, and into that cold house came Sophia Lane. Sophia was everything Clara wasn't, young, sharp, and ruthless. To Adrien, she was glamorous company. To Clara, she was poison. Pause, with suspense, how far would Sophia go to break Clara's spirit? Stay with Whisper Fable to find out. From the day she arrived, Sophia treated her like dirt. Mimic Sophia's sneer, why is this old woman still here? Sophia had sneered the first week, tossing her designer heels onto the floor for Clara to pick up. This is a billionaire's home, not a nursing home. Adrien didn't defend her. He never told Sophia to stop. And so the cruelty grew bolder. Every morning, Clara heard Sophia's voice cutting her down. Mimic Sophia's mocking tone, Clara, you're too slow. Clara, maybe you should retire before you collapse on the floor. Clara, no one wants to see a wrinkled face serving drinks at the table. The staff looked away. Clara swallowed her pride the same way she had swallowed it her entire life, but inside, her heart broke. Adrien, her Adrien, stood by in silence. The worst came with the plumbing. Clara's servant quarters were old, the pipes groaning every night. She begged for repairs. Pleading tone, please, Miss Sophia, the water is leaking into the walls. I could be hurt. Sophia laughed in her face. Mimic Sophia's cruel laugh, then leave. If the pipes don't like you, maybe you should go back where you came from. This house doesn't need dead weight. The estate manager never lifted a finger. Sophia had made it clear Clara's requests were not to be taken seriously, so the leaks worsened. For weeks, Clara bathed in fear, wondering when the walls would finally give way. That day arrived with a hiss and a roar. Clara had just finished washing when the pipe split open, spraying boiling water across the small tiled room. She screamed, clutching the thin blue towel to her chest. The light bulb above popped, sparks raining as water poured onto the floor. Steam filled the air, choking her lungs. Desperate tone, help. She cried, but her voice echoed into silence. No one came. She stumbled into the corridor, bare feet slipping on the wet tiles, clutching the towel like armor. And there, at the end of the hall, Sophia appeared, smiling. Mimic Sophia's mocking tone, my God, look at you running around half naked like a crazy woman. Maybe you should take a stroll outside. Let the neighbors enjoy the show. That's all you're good for now. Clara's lips trembled. Pleading, please don't. But Sophia stepped closer, eyes glinting. Mimic Sophia's cruel tone, what? Embarrassed? Maybe if Adrien sees you like this, he'll finally realize what a disgrace you are. Go on, run. Show the world what a pathetic old maid looks like. Clara shook her head, tears spilling. Heartbroken, why are you doing this to me? I gave my life to this house. I raised him. I raised him. Sophia's laughter was sharp. Mimic Sophia's cruel tone, don't flatter yourself. You're nothing but a servant who overstayed her welcome. The words sliced deeper than the scalding water had. Clara's chest heaved. For weeks, she had endured Sophia's cruelty, hoping Adrien might one day notice. But he hadn't. And now, stripped of dignity, wrapped in nothing but a towel, she broke. She ran out the back door, across the drive, into the street. Her lungs burned, her heart pounded. Every step was agony. Every whisper from the watching neighbors another nail in her shame. Mimic neighbors whisper, is that Adrien Cole's maid? Why is she half naked in public? Curtains twitched, phones lifted. Desperate, God, no, Clara gasped, clutching the towel tighter. Not like this, please. Not like this. And then she saw him. Adrien Cole stepping out of his sleek car, his navy suit crisp, his polished shoes hitting the pavement. He froze in the driveway, his sharp eyes widening. Lo, stunned, Clara. She staggered to a stop, her gray hair plastered to her damp face, tears streaking down her cheeks. Behind her, Sophia stood in the mansion doorway, arms folded, smirking at the spectacle she had created. The world seemed to hold its breath. Adrien's jaw tightened. His pride flared first. How could the woman from his childhood, the one who had once tucked him into bed, now stand in front of him, half-dressed, crying in the street for the entire neighborhood to see? But beneath that anger, something deeper stirred. He remembered her arms holding him when no one else cared, her voice humming lullabies into the night, her wrinkled hand brushing his fevered forehead when his own mother never bothered. And now she was here, broken, humiliated, wrapped in a towel while strangers watched. Adrien froze, the image searing itself into his mind. Soft, emotional to Clara, he said again, softer now. Her chest heaved, tears falling freely. She shook her head, clutching the towel tighter. Angry, heartbroken, don't say my name like that. Not after all this. Not after you let her do this to me. He blinked. Confused, her? Clara's trembling hand lifted, pointing back toward the mansion. Sophia stood in the doorway, smirk curling her lips like poison. Anguished, she humiliated me for weeks, Clara cried. Every day she mocked me. She told me I was too old, too ugly, too useless. She laughed when I begged for the pipes to be fixed. She told me I was nothing. And you said nothing, Adrien. Her voice cracked. You stood by and watched. The neighbors whispered from their lawns. Adrien's throat tightened. For once, his pride couldn't shield him. Soft, regretful to Clara, he stepped closer, his voice low. I didn't know it was this bad. Her eyes burned. Accusing, oh, did you ever care, even once in all these years? Or was I just another servant to you? A shadow you could ignore? The question cut through him like a blade. His jaw trembled, his chest rising with a weight he had carried too long. Firm, yes, he said finally, the word sharp. Then again, softer. Yes, I cared. She flinched, unbelieving. Skeptical, don't lie to me now. He shook his head, his voice breaking in a way his boardrooms had never heard. Emotional, I cared, Clara. I always did. I couldn't show it. I wasn't allowed to. In this world, a man like me is expected to be cold, hard, untouchable. But that doesn't mean I didn't care. He swallowed, eyes glistening. Do you think I forgot who held me when I was a child? Who stayed awake when I was sick? Who taught me to tie my shoes when my parents couldn't be bothered? That was you. Always you. Clara's lips trembled. For a moment, the towel, the humiliation, the watching neighbors disappeared. It was just her and the boy she had raised. Whispered, and then why? She whispered. Did you let her do this to me? Adrien turned, his gaze burning into Sophia. The smirk vanished from her face as she realized for the first time that she had gone too far. Thunderous, Sophia, Adrien said, his voice thunderous now. Get out. She stiffened. Shocked, what? Firm, you heard me. Get out of my house. You will never speak to her again. You will never set foot in my home again. Sophia's face paled. She tried to protest, but Adrien's glare silenced her. With a scoff, she spun on her heel and stormed back inside. The door slammed shut. The street went quiet. Clara's tears fell heavier now, but they were mixed with relief. Adrien turned back to her, his voice softer. Gentle, I failed you. I let my silence speak when I should have stood for you, but not anymore. Her body trembled, exhaustion pulling at her. Weary, I can't do this anymore, Adrien. I'm old. I've given everything I had. He stepped closer, his hand hovering as if afraid to touch her shoulder. Tender, then stop giving. Let me take care of you now. You're not just a maid. You never were. You're family. You always were. The words cracked something inside her. She sobbed into her hands, her body shaking. For the first time in decades, Adrien reached forward and wrapped his arms around her, holding her like a son again. The neighbors looked on, silent now, not with gossip, but with awe. The billionaire who never showed emotion stood in the street, crying into the shoulder of the woman who had once been his only source of love. When Adrien finally pulled back, his voice was firm. Resolute, come inside. Not to that broken room, to the main house. You'll never live in those quarters again. From this day forward, you live with dignity, the way you should have all along. Clara searched his eyes, seeing the boy she had once known beneath the hardened man. Slowly, she nodded. For the first time in weeks, her tears carried something more than despair. They carried release. Adrien guided her back toward the house, his arm steadying her. Behind them, the whispers of the neighbors faded. Ahead, the mansion no longer looked like a palace of cold marble. It looked, for the first time, like a place where truth had broken through, and as the door closed, Clara knew the boy she raised had not forgotten her. Pause, emotional, if this story touched your heart, don't just pass by. Like this video right now on Whisper Fable. Comment below, do you think Adrien truly changed, or was it only guilt? And subscribe to Whisper Fable for more powerful emotional stories where truth and struggle are finally revealed. Your reaction matters. Your voice matters. Be part of the story.